Business is more than grinding to get it done. It's people, process, and payroll done right. It's protecting your team, leveraging every penny out of every dollar to build and grow. From HR to insurance, from strategy to scale. We give you the playbook so you don't have to figure it out the hard way. This is the PEO Playbook, hosted by Chad Philly with Staff Brokers Inc. Get valuable insights and learn to grow your team without HR headaches. Let's get started.
All right, welcome back to the PEO Playbook podcast. I am Chad Philly with Staff Brokers. Today we're going to touch on how do you start with a PEO or get involved with a PEO. It does have an underwriting process, and depending on who we're working with, the process is a little bit different. For the insurance agents, property casualty agents that are out there trying to help their client find a good option to outsource their payroll and workers' comp. We collect the same basic documents that they use in the standard insurance industry, which is the Accord app and the loss runs, which is basically just general data on the employer, and the loss runs being their loss history that talks about what injuries they've had. If we're working directly with a client, we're basically just going to give you a request for proposal form that is going to collect that same type of data. And then assuming you have had previous work comp history, we'd request those loss runs. If not, we would have the business owner sign a loss history affidavit that indicates that they have or have not had any prior injuries. Basically, we will collect that information. Then we're going to have a conversation with the business owner, trying to make sure that we're covering and discovering all the pain points and things that they are trying to solve by joining a PEO. Is it, are they having a work comp crisis? Is it they just don't want to deal with the payroll side of things? Are they looking for high-end HR support, low support? Do they want just, pay my employees, make sure I've got work comp, file my taxes? That's what we're here for. There's a lot of different PEOs out there that provide all different levels of service to the clients. So that's what, kind of the starting point is figuring out what exactly they want. Very basic data collection, depending on industry, some of your construction industry stuff, your roofers, some transportation stuff. There may be some extra supplemental questions that we have to ask that relates to safety. Roofers is a good example, fall protection, that kind of stuff. Things that they're doing to make sure the employees aren't getting injured. We take that data, have that conversation with the employer, as far as what all are they looking to accomplish through this relationship, that we will then in turn go through our list of PEO vendors that we deal with and figure out who we think is going to be the best fit based on that particular client and their needs. And we're going to factor in, everything under the sun, from client location, industry they're in, the size. Are they 1 employee, 5 employees, 25 employees? There's a whole realm of PEO world out there that if you don't have more than 10 employees or 25 employees, you're really not even in consideration for them. They're not targeting the very small clients. There's a whole nother level of PEOs that that's exactly what they're targeting, is they want those little small mom and pop 1 to 5 employee deals. And that's what we're looking for and helping them figure out what's going to be the good fit. So once all the data collection is done, we will submit that into the various PEOs. It will go through their underwriting departments. Underwriting departments vary by PEO from a time frame point of view. I've seen as little as 2 hours. Very straightforward, very simple. And sometimes you get up in the realm of, even potentially a week. Obviously, the more complicated the client, the more complicated the underwriting can be, the higher risk. So a lot of things that go into it, especially when you get into some obscure industries. Staffing is a good example. Got a client that's placing employees into other businesses because they can't or have not been able to hire their own help in those areas. A lot of underwriting scrutiny in that, because you've got an employer that doesn't know what type of work site the employees are being sent into, what kind of safety policies and procedures does that particular client have. So underwriters got to do a little bit of extra due diligence, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. So we go through the underwriting, field a couple more questions here and there. They're generally going to go and scour the internet for a lot of stuff when it comes to underwriting and what clients do and don't do. Their Facebook and their Instagram pages are telltale for telling on themselves about what they actually do versus what they say they do. So, input to the small business owners that are out there, make sure your social media pages for your business match what you do. Don't say that you're a lawn care company and then we go to your Facebook page, or an underwriter go to your Facebook page and you're cutting a palm tree in out of a climbing stand that you would normally go hunting with. Underwriters will find that. You will have to explain. If you don't go on roofs, don't have pictures of your employees on roofs. Comes up all the time. We have people that say that they do pressure washing, etc. But the internet is a killer when it comes to this, and underwriters have figured that out. So, something to be wary of. So, say we go through the whole underwriting process. We're going to get the information back. We're going to have proposals get presented generally in one of two ways, because this is a pay-as-you-go one-time transaction every week that encompasses employer-related taxes, your Social Security, Medicare, federal and state unemployment, work comp, and administrative costs for all the services the PEO provides. You either get it broken out individually by each individual line item, or sometimes it comes in what's called bulk pricing, where it's just a total percentage that allows the businesses to get a good idea of what is it going to cost them for every $100 of payroll. We're going to get that back. We will generally give the client a breakdown, kind of in whatever format that they would like. Hey, here's your straightforward work comp cost. Here's taxes. The taxes, they're already paying taxes. That is not any sort of additional cost to businesses. They're paying them one way or another. So we simply put them out there, and then we break it down. Different clients process stuff differently. If some just want to know, hey, if I've got one employee and he makes $500 or $800 a week, how much money's coming out of my bank account? If that's the explanation they want, that's the explanation they get. Some want it on an annual basis. Some want to know everything broken down little by little. So that is the general. That's what we do. Is after helping them find the right vendor, kind of give them a cost analysis on this. If we've got two vendors that would both be a good fit, break them out, lay out the minor differences between them, and we can make our recommendation. If they're even Steven, then it becomes up to the business owner as to do they want the one that has a local, the closest local office, whatever they think may be the best option for them. If we can give them hey, you're even Steven from a cost point of view, or within a couple dollars, the business owner can help make the decision as far as what they think is a good. Well, obviously the business owner is going to make the decision regardless, but we make our recommendations. If it comes down to it, they can make their own little pick. Generally, if we get back, get the numbers, business owner says, hey, let's go forward. Depending on the size of the company, the getting up and go process, so to speak, can vary. It can be as simple as come into the office, or we meet somewhere, get a couple of signatures, and then the tricky part, or not necessarily tricky part, is getting the employees to fill out their portion. Each employee fills out an employee application, just like they would being hired anywhere. Basic information, name, address, phone number. We help assist with the I-9, which is the employment verification form. And it's really a matter of how long is the enrollment process, is a matter of how long does it take to collect all that data. You got a handful of employees, you can get them all together quickly, easily, not a big deal. If everybody's spread out, that really depends on the efficiency of the employer, the efficiency of the employees. If it's real high blue collar and not everybody's going to be computer savvy, it may take a little bit of legwork from getting physical applications completed and filled out. If everybody is tech savvy, can follow directions pretty simply, have emails and printers, you send it, they can print their own, fill them out, send them back in. There also is DocuSign. Everything can be done electronically, and then that can be a combination of employer and employee information. If it's a savvy employer, has all their info and can put it all in an Excel file, a lot of the employee paperwork can be auto-filled, and then it just clicks off to them, and they just have to click a couple buttons going through verifying information, and everything can be done electronically. That's in general the get up and go process. Once everything is ready to go, then you generally have about a week of start time before you get your first check. Typically, you're going to start your coverage with a PEO. Let's just say we were starting on today, Monday. Generally, you have a 7-day or a 14-day pay cycle. So you're going to go through that first 7 days, and then, so Monday to Sunday, and then ideally you anticipate turning in payroll the next Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday for a Friday check date. I always encourage leave yourself more leeway as a business owner. You never know what life's going to throw at you. So plan on doing it Monday. It doesn't happen Monday. You still got Tuesday, Wednesday, and employees get paid on time. That becomes the important thing. Employees that don't get paid on time are generally not the happiest of employees. Doesn't make your life real easy. So as an overall start to finish, unless you're highly efficient and really motivated to get going in a hurry, I would say it's probably, a 2-week minimum to get going, but it's not to say it can't be done in a shorter amount of time. For a smaller company, larger companies, obviously it is harder to, turn a cruise ship on a dime than it is, a smaller entity. So if you've got a large operation, you do have to build in some time for lots of data collection and transition time to make things work appropriately. But from a get up and go and partnering with a PEO point of view, that is kind of the general process, that can take anywhere from, like I said, a week is a pretty good quick turnaround. It can happen faster on occasion if, we call it just the right time. A lot of it depends on the workflow of the PEOs. That's a varying thing that changes when you want to get up and going quickly. Sometimes they put requirements of, hey, you got to have paperwork in by this time because they've got X amount of other clients that they're putting on at the same time and need to have ample time to make sure that everything's inputted correctly because, one missed digit sends employee money to the wrong account, and then we have a bigger problem to deal with. But all in all, that's the process for getting up and going with a PEO. Starting and finding the right PEO is the ideal way to go about it, because getting up and going with the wrong one, because it seemed like it was going to be the best price, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. If you find yourself with the wrong one and you need to make a move, you get to repeat the whole process again. A lot of weight put into finding the right solution the first time and only having to do that enrollment portion one period, one day at one time and be done with it so you can move on. And if you end up with a good PEO partner, generally you are going to be in a substantially long relationship in the 5-10. We've got clients that have been around with us for 20 plus years. The system works. It works for them. They're able to focus on what matters to them most. And they generally stay where they're at rather than making big moves. Well, that's kind of it today for what is the get up and go process with PEOs. I'm Chad Philly with Staff Brokers here for PEOplaybook.com and the PEO Playbook podcast. Please reach out to us there if you have any questions. Have a good day.
Thanks for tuning in to the PEO Playbook, where we help business owners unlock the power of PEOs and take their team to the next level. This episode was proudly brought to you by Legacy Sales Engineering. If you're ready to simplify HR, scale your business, and put the right team behind you, visit staffbroker.net to get started with Staff Brokers today.